Hey, Judge Napolitano.
Hello, Jamie. How are you?
I know to you I may look old. Hope this statement ain't too bold, but here comes the
At
judge.
JudgeNap, Hey, Judge, how are you, first of all?
Good, my man. How are you?
Well, you are busy.
Oh, God. I think I broke my own record yesterday. Just talking to my assistant about the number of on-air appearances at Fox because of Jim Comey's announcement on Friday. And, of course, I was on all weekend, hadn't had a weekend like that. I'm not complaining. It's my work, and I love it. Since the November 2000 recount era. You remember that, young man.
Oh, yeah.
Please, Lord, that we're not going to go through that 2 weeks from now.
Well, let me ask you this in terms of the word announcement, because people are acting as if Comey was the one who went to the media. But, in fact, this letter was sent to the House Judiciary Committee, correct?
Yeah, but it's a public document once he sends it to them. And those guys are, no one would send them a letter expecting them to keep it to themselves, nor should they. I mean, they're elected officials who have a duty to reveal this stuff to their constituents, but Comey has no duty to reveal it to them. He doesn't work for the Congress. He works for the Justice Department.
Okay, so it does become a public document when it's sent to the House Judiciary Committee?
Yes, he can send. It's a great argument, Jamie, and in all my discussions yesterday and over the weekend, this has not been raised. He can send something under seal and thereby comply with his self-imposed obligation to inform the Congress, but not Franz Kafka-like put a cloud over somebody and say, we have something on you, we don't know its significance, we'll let you know if we figure it out 10 days before an election day. Now, I am the last person in the world that can be called an apologist for Hillary Clinton, but I will defend her constitutional liberties no matter how evil and deceptive she's been or unworthy she is for the presidency. When Comey was asked why he told the Congress, he said, I promised them I would. Well, that's a promise that shouldn't have been made, and there's no obligation to keep it because the manner in which he told them violates federal regulations that require no comment by the DOJ and the FBI about a person running for office within 60 days of Election Day. So could he have done this secretly? Yes, the FBI regularly sends information to Congress, puts it into a safe room. Any member of Congress can go in there, but they can't reveal it.
So
instead, he sent a letter to these guys who couldn't wait to get it out there. I don't blame them for getting it out there. They're Republicans who can't stand her, but I blame him for triggering this mini crisis.
Now, let me ask you this, because apparently, and I don't know where this has been necessarily confirmed, but apparently Loretta Lynch and her team said, don't report this, don't make this public, or don't tell anybody about this investigation.
I would have done the same thing. I would have said, don't make this public because you're going to inject the Justice Department in a political campaign. If you feel the need, because of what you said under oath, improvidently and inappropriately, but you were sort of talked into it under oath, to tell members of Congress, put this in the safe room. That's the place in the House and the Senate where the FBI puts classified material for members of Congress to view, and then they can't tell the public about it.
So now, let's put it this way. What if you're Comey and suddenly you feel that you're being told to keep this quiet when you've promised Congress you would tell them? Suddenly, it becomes public information that you kept quiet because the Justice Department told you to. Then suddenly Comey feels like he is part of a cabal or an effort to suppress information, but you say he shouldn't have told Congress he would tell them anyway, right?
Correct.
That's
Correct,
what...
because law enforcement is not transparent. Prosecutions are. His job is to gather facts and present it to the Justice Department. For him to take a snapshot of that gathering and give a progress report midstream is especially unfair to everybody involved. He talked about evidence he hadn't even seen, and that's why this is prohibited by DOJ and FBI regulations.
So then what happens?
Well, there's nothing that can happen now because it's already out there. This will just have to play its way out. Look, I mean, there's all these theories about why he did it, but that's trying to get into his head. He had a morale problem in the FBI because of the announcement on July 5 that he wasn't going to indict her, and yet he laid out all the evidence against her anyway, and he tried to cure the morale problem. His wife was driving him crazy. He wanted her off his back. I mean, that's a little psychobabble to me, and maybe there's a little bit of truth in it. I don't know, and I don't care. But he had duties. He had legal duties imposed upon him as a lawyer, and he had legal duties imposed upon him as an employee of the Justice Department and as the head of the FBI, and he dishonored all of those in an effort to take pressure off himself and to relieve this morale problem at the FBI, and in my view, to correct the wrong turn that he took on July 5 when he decided that notwithstanding a mountain of evidence of Mrs. Clinton's guilt, they were not going to indict her.
So anyway, okay, so if there's no problem and no issue, and I understand the optics here, Hillary Clinton has now gone back to, first of all, Huma's not traveling with her anymore, and she's referred to Huma as one of her staffers, even though they're tight as a drum. So if there really was no issue here, do you think that Hillary would then, wouldn't you think she would double down and just kind of have Huma with her, or do you think that's an indication something might actually be wrong?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Hillary knew. She probably knows now, but I don't know if Hillary knew that Huma Abedin had configured her mobile device and her laptop at the State Department to send a copy of everything she received to the laptop she held, owned, and used in common with her husband. Now, she probably was unaware of the husband's perversions at the time, and he was her husband and a congressman, and they were using the same laptop at home like a lot of married couples do. I don't know if Hillary realized that. So when the Justice Department went to a federal judge here in New York on Sunday night to get a search warrant, they didn't say we're investigating Hillary Clinton because they don't know what's in there that might implicate Mrs. Clinton. They also can't say that because their original investigation of Mrs. Clinton was not a serious one because it didn't involve a grand jury, and so no subpoenas can be issued or search warrants gotten. What did they tell the federal judge in New York? We're investigating Huma Abedin because she told us when we interviewed her that she had surrendered all of her emails, and now we stumbled upon 650,000 that we don't know if she told us about.
Wow.
And in order to find out if she was telling us the truth when she told us this, we need to read the content. So give us permission to do that. And the federal judge said, yes, no mention of Mrs. Clinton.
Well, it is a warrant. I mean, and
it's a warrant to look at whatever is in there.
Right.
But it's not a warrant to look at whatever Mrs. Clinton has done, which is another reason why Comey's vaguely worded letter permitted inferences that Mrs. Clinton was being investigated all over again 10 days before Election Day. Now, look, these things happen. In 1992, when her husband, Bill Clinton, was running against then-President George H.W. Bush, an independent prosecutor indicted the Secretary of Defense 10 days before Election Day. It was in profound violation of DOJ and FBI regulations, but he did it anyway. It may have contributed to Clinton's victory over George H.W. Who knows?
Wow. All right. Well, Judge Napolitano, always fascinating. Thank you for breaking it down for us.
When we talk next, we'll be on the cusp of whichever way this election's going.
Boy, that is...
And Hillary's preparing for quite a celebration. The local newspapers reported this morning that she's ordered fireworks over the Hudson River, a la the 4th of July. Will those fireworks go off on the evening of November 8th?
She's ordered fireworks. Lord. At Judge Snap, judgesnap.com. Thank you so much, my friend.
All the best, Jamie.